The hall glittered with golden lights, laughter, and expensive perfume. I stood quietly near the back, clutching the thin fabric of my dress, trying to smile. It was my husband's company's annual family ceremony, a night where employees and their families were celebrated. My mother-in-law, Mrs. Violet Hartman, was the star of the evening, wearing a red gown that shimmered like pride itself. When she stepped up to the microphone, I already knew she had something planned. She smiled at the crowd and said sweetly, "Tonight, we honor the women who bring success to our family. We only have gifts for successful women. Maybe next year, some of us will make the list." The room laughed softly. I froze as a spotlight flickered onto me, empty-handed, standing awkwardly. My husband, Aaron, looked down, pretending not to see me. My chest tightened as whispers floated around. Violet's eyes glowed with quiet satisfaction. Her mission was complete. Make me small. I looked at her, calm on the outside but burning inside. I didn't know that the moment she finished that sentence, life would start shifting. Because before the night was over, someone would walk through those doors and change everything. Someone she never expected. Violet's laughter lingered as the crowd clapped. She started handing out the crystal-engraved boxes she'd chosen herself, each one labeled for our achievers. My name was not on a single one. I watched as women smiled, accepted gifts, took photos with her, and thanked her for recognizing their worth. Aaron whispered, "Just ignore it. She's being mom." "Being cruel," I corrected under my breath. He shifted uncomfortably, refusing to meet my eyes. "Let's not make a scene." That was always his line. We'd been married 3 years. For 3 years, his mother had reminded me that I married up, that I was lucky he chose me, and that my small bakery was just a hobby. But tonight, something in me cracked. Violet smirked as she walked past, pretending to check the list again. "Oh dear, no gift for you this year, Emma. Perhaps when your cakes win awards instead of birthdays." More laughter. I swallowed the lump in my throat and forced a smile. "Maybe next year," I said quietly. She turned away, victorious. But at that exact moment, the tall double doors at the back opened, and a deep voice called out my name. "Emma Reed." The voice was warm, commanding, and familiar. Heads turned. A man in a dark navy suit strode through the doors, tall and confident, holding a golden envelope. My heart raced as whispers filled the room. "Who's that?" someone murmured. Violet's smile faltered. He walked straight toward me, his shoes echoing across the marble floor. "Sorry to interrupt," he said, glancing toward the stage. "But I think there's been a mistake. The City Business Council wanted to deliver this personally." He handed me the envelope. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a letter embossed with gold seals. "Congratulations, Mrs. Emma Reed, owner of Sweet Haven Bakery, winner of this year's Small Business Excellence Award." Gasps filled the room. I looked up, stunned. The man smiled. "And since you couldn't attend the award dinner last week, we decided to bring your honor here tonight." Every eye turned toward me. Violet's face paled as her microphone slipped slightly in her hand. Aaron's mouth dropped open. I smiled faintly. "Thank you, Mr. Daniels," Violet whispered. Impossible. And just like that, her night was no longer hers. Mr. Daniels turned to the crowd. "Sweet Haven Bakery is one of the fastest-growing small businesses in Denver. Emma's story has inspired hundreds of local entrepreneurs." Applause rippled through the audience. I stood frozen, my cheeks hot, unsure if I should laugh or cry. Violet forced a chuckle. "Oh my, what a surprise. We had no idea." Aaron rubbed his neck. "Mom, I told you Emma's been doing well." She snapped quietly. "Doing well isn't success, dear." But her voice shook. Mr. Daniels handed me a sleek black box with a golden ribbon. Inside was a shining glass trophy shaped like a flame. "Keep burning bright," he said warmly. The irony wasn't lost on me. The same spotlight that had humiliated me minutes ago now glowed on my trophy. Violet blinked rapidly, her practiced smile cracking. "Well, isn't that something? Seems we'll need another gift prepared." The audience chuckled, This time not with her, but at her. I met her gaze. Maybe next year, I said softly. Her fingers tightened around the microphone. But that wasn't the end of her plans. Only the beginning of mine. After the ceremony, guests came to congratulate me. Even people who'd ignored me earlier now wanted photos, asking about the bakery. Violet stayed silent, her jaw locked. Aaron tried to smooth things over, saying, "Let's just forget it happened." But I couldn't. When we finally got home, I placed the trophy on the dining table. It glimmered under the chandelier, small but powerful. Violet called just as I sat down. Aaron answered. Her voice carried through the speaker. "That was an embarrassment," she hissed. "You should have told me beforehand." Aaron sighed. "Mom, it's not a big deal." "Not a big deal?" "She made me look like a fool in front of everyone." "She didn't do anything," he said quietly. There was a pause. Then her words cut deep. "You've let her take control, Aaron. I raised you better than to let a baker's daughter overshadow you." I felt something cold twist inside me. This wasn't over. And I suddenly realized Violet wasn't just cruel, she was dangerous when embarrassed. For a few quiet days, nothing happened. I spent my time at the bakery, kneading dough and pretending the world was fine. Customers came in smiling, asking about the award. I smiled back, but deep down I knew Violet was planning something. On Friday afternoon, she appeared at Sweet Haven like a storm in pearls. "Emma," she said sweetly, "I came to try one of your famous cupcakes." Her tone was sugar and vinegar mixed together. I boxed her 6, tied the ribbon, and said, "On the house." She smiled thinly. "Oh, I couldn't. You need every penny, don't you?" My chest burned. "We're doing fine, thank you." She looked around the busy shop. "Fine isn't success, dear." Then she lowered her voice. "You embarrassed me once. Don't try it again." She left the box on the counter and walked out, heels clicking like war drums. When I opened the box later, I found a note under the cupcakes. "Let's see how long your little bakery lasts." My hands trembled. I didn't know it yet, but her threat wasn't empty. The next Monday, my supplier called early. "Emma, we can't deliver this week," he said. "Your account's frozen." "Frozen? That's impossible." He read the note he'd received. "Hold deliveries for Sweet Haven pending investigation of health complaints." My stomach dropped. By noon, a city inspector showed up, clipboard in hand. He checked every corner of my bakery, asking strange questions about hygiene. Everything was spotless, but the visit scared away the lunch crowd. I called Aaron that night. Someone reported fake complaints. "I think your mother." He cut me off. "Emma, stop blaming her for everything. Maybe it's a coincidence." "Coincidence?" I snapped. "She left a note." He sighed. "You're overreacting. Just fix it." That was when I realized I couldn't count on him. I sat alone in the dark bakery after closing, surrounded by trays of untouched cupcakes. The hum of the refrigerator was the only sound. I whispered to myself, if she wants war, she's got one. Outside, a shadow moved past the window. Someone was watching. The next morning, I found muddy footprints near the back door. The lock was scratched. Nothing was stolen, but flour was poured across the floor like someone wanted to send a message. I cleaned it silently, shaking. Then my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "You should quit before you ruin the family name." My throat tightened. Later that day, a woman from the city council visited. "Ms. Dean, polite but curious. We received an anonymous letter saying you bought your award." "Bought it?" I laughed bitterly. "No, I earned it." She nodded, but I could see doubt in her eyes. By evening, my story was online. Bakery owner under investigation for fake award. Violet didn't even hide her delight. She called Aaron, pretending concern. "Poor Emma, she's under so much pressure. Maybe she should close the bakery for a while." I saw the call log on his phone. That night, I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the glowing trophy. My reflection wavered in it, tired but still standing. I whispered, "You underestimated me, Violet." Then I called Mr. Daniels. Mr. Daniels met me at a quiet cafe downtown. He looked worried. "Emma, Someone sent letters to all our sponsors questioning your eligibility. It's serious. I nodded. I think I know who. He leaned forward. Do you have proof? Not yet, but I'll get it.
He sighed.
You have friends here, Emma. Don't give up. After he left, I sat with my coffee growing cold. A plan started forming. That weekend, I invited Violet and Aaron to dinner at the bakery, under the excuse of peace. I cooked everything myself. When they arrived, Violet eyed the camera crew I'd quietly arranged. Local food vloggers, I said. They're doing a feature on small businesses. She smiled too brightly. How lovely. Over dessert, I said casually, funny thing, someone reported me for fake awards. Her fork paused midair. Oh, how terrible. Yes, I said. But the city traced the complaint back to your charity email account. The camera lights hummed softly. Her face drained of color. Aaron froze, eyes wide. I smiled. Care to explain, Violet? Silence filled the bakery. The vloggers stopped filming, sensing tension. Violet tried to laugh. That's absurd. Anyone could have used my address. I slid my phone across the table, screenshots of the inspector's notes, the fake letters, the IP address from her office computer. Aaron whispered, Mom, please tell me this isn't true. Her lips trembled. I was trying to protect our image. She humiliated me, us, at that ceremony. Aaron stood up slowly.
No, Mom.
She earned that. You humiliated her. The cameras were still rolling. Violet realized it too late. I leaned back, heart pounding. Looks like this story just turned public again. She glared at me. You'll regret this. I smiled faintly. Maybe, but not tonight. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, her heels echoing like cracks in her pride. Aaron followed after her, torn and silent. When the bakery door closed behind them, I exhaled for the first time in hours. But the victory felt strange, quiet, unfinished. Because I knew Violet wouldn't stop until she broke something. And this time, she might go after my heart instead of my business. The next morning, Aaron didn't come home. His phone went straight to voicemail. I told myself he just needed space, but deep down I knew he was with her. At the bakery, business picked up again after the vlog posted their video. People loved the part where I stayed calm while being accused. You handled that like a queen, one customer said. I smiled, but my hands trembled. That evening, Aaron finally returned. His eyes were red. Mom says you embarrassed her on purpose, he said quietly. I exposed the truth, I replied. That's not the same. He rubbed his face. She's still my mother. And I'm your wife, I whispered. The silence between us stretched. Then he said, she's sick, Emma. Her heart. The stress made it worse. My anger softened a little. Is she in the hospital? He nodded. She wants to see you. Part of me wanted to refuse. But another part needed to know if her apology, if any, was real. When I walked into her hospital room, she looked small, fragile, until her eyes opened. They were full of fire again. Violet's voice was soft but sharp. You must feel proud, making me end up here. I stood near the bed. You did this to yourself. She smiled faintly.
No, dear.
I did this to see what you do next. I frowned. What are you talking about? She turned her gaze to the window. Aaron told me he's thinking of leaving. He says he's tired of choosing sides. My chest tightened. You manipulated him again. She shrugged. I simply reminded him what family loyalty means. I took a step closer. If you truly loved him, you'd stop destroying everything. Her voice dropped to a whisper. And if you truly loved him, you'd let him go before you break him. Something in her tone scared me. It wasn't rage anymore. It was calculation. When I left the hospital, my phone buzzed with a message from Aaron. Need time to think. Staying at Mom's for a while. Rain started to fall as I read it. Violet had won this round. But I wasn't done fighting for the truth. Days passed without a word from Aaron. I buried myself in work, but loneliness crept into every corner of the bakery. Then one afternoon, a young woman walked in holding a small envelope. Delivery for Mrs. Reed, she said. Inside was a court notice. Violet had filed a complaint against me for defamation and emotional harm. My knees almost buckled. She wanted to destroy me legally now. I called Mr. Daniels again.
He sighed.
Emma, she's going to drag you through this until you quit. But we can help. The video from that dinner shows everything. We gathered the footage, messages, and witness statements. Still, I couldn't sleep. That night, I drove past Violet's house. A light was on in the living room. Through the window, I saw Aaron sitting beside her, his head in his hands. She touched his shoulder gently, whispering something. He nodded slowly. Tears blurred my vision. Was I losing him for good? Just as I was about to drive away, my phone buzzed. It was Aaron. Meet me tomorrow at the old park.
Alone.
The park was quiet, the morning air heavy with mist. I sat on a wooden bench, clutching my coffee cup. Aaron arrived a few minutes later, hands in his pockets. He looked tired, older somehow. Thanks for coming, he said. I almost didn't, I admitted.
He sighed.
Mom wants me to convince you to drop the case. She says it's the only way to fix the family. Fix it. I laughed bitterly. She's the one tearing it apart. He stared at the ground. I know. But she's sick, Emma. If this continues, it could kill her. I felt torn between anger and guilt. I love you, he said quietly, but I can't keep fighting both of you. I reached for his hand. Then don't fight. Choose what's right. He looked up, eyes full of conflict. I need to see something for myself first. What do you mean? I asked. He hesitated, then said, Mom told me you lied about how you started the bakery, that someone else funded it. I froze. Did she? He asked. The words hit me like cold water. She's lying, I said firmly. Every cent came from my savings and late nights. Erin studied my face. She showed me documents, bank transfers from a man named Daniel Reed. My father, I said quickly. He helped me after my mother died. That's it. Erin exhaled. She made it sound like something else. Of course she did, I said. She twists everything. He nodded slowly, doubt flickering in his eyes. I want to believe you. Then do. Before he could answer, his phone rang. He stepped aside to answer it. I heard only fragments. What? When? I'll come now. He hung up, face pale. Mom collapsed again. They're rushing her to surgery. My heart lurched. Go, I said. He ran toward his car. I followed in mine, unsure why. Maybe guilt, maybe unfinished business. At the hospital, nurses hurried past us. Then a doctor appeared, face grave. She's stable for now, he said. But she asked for you, Mrs. Reed. Erin turned to me, confused. Me? I whispered. The doctor nodded. She said she needs to tell you the truth. The room smelled of antiseptic and fading perfume. Violet lay weakly against white pillows, her skin pale, but her eyes still sharp. When she saw me, she smiled faintly. I didn't think you'd come. I wasn't sure I should, I said. She nodded slowly. You hate me. I earned that. But before I go, I need to tell you something. I stood at the foot of her bed, arms crossed. Then tell me. She looked at the ceiling. Erin doesn't know everything. The award letter, the inspector visit, yes, I started those. But someone else helped me. Someone who wanted you ruined more than I did. My heart thudded. Who? She swallowed. A man from your past. He came to me with proof that your bakery used his recipes. That's not true, I said sharply. Her hand trembled as she reached for mine. His name was Daniel Reed. I froze. My father? She nodded weakly. He told me you took money that wasn't yours. I believed him. That's why I tried to stop you. Tears burned my eyes. He's been dead for years, Violet. She blinked in confusion. Then, who was I talking to? Her words spun in my mind like smoke. You said his name was Daniel Reed? I asked. She nodded. He said, he was your father. He had photos, signatures, everything. A chill ran down my spine. Someone was impersonating my dead father. Violet coughed weakly. He wanted me to ruin you publicly. He said you destroyed his business. I thought he was just bitter. I swallowed hard. When was this? Months before the award, she whispered. He sent the letters I signed. I thought I was helping. Tears blurred my vision. You were a pawn, Violet. Her eyes filled with regret. I'm sorry, Emma. I didn't know. Erin entered quietly. Mom. She looked at him and whispered, Protect her, Erin. She's stronger than you think. Then the monitors began to beep faster. Nurses rushed in, shouting for help. I stepped back as they surrounded her, my heart pounding. Erin reached for me. What's happening? The nurse's voice broke through the chaos. Code blue. And as the alarm echoed through the hall, I realized Violet might not live long enough to explain the rest. Hours passed before a doctor came out. His eyes were tired. She's alive, but barely. She's in a coma. Erin sank into a chair, hands over his face. I can't lose her, Emma. I sat beside him quietly. Despite everything, I felt the sting of sorrow. Violet had hurt me deeply, but her last words haunted me. Someone had pretended to be my dead father. Someone had started all of this. That night, I searched through Violet's things, her phone, her notes, her emails. Most were full of gossip and charity plans. But one folder caught my eye. Read files. Inside were photos of me, my bakery, and several signed documents. At the bottom was an email address, danielordbusiness@postmail.com. I sent a short message from a new account. Who are you really? Minutes later, a reply came. You'll know soon enough, Emma. I just want what belongs to me. My heart raced. Whoever this was, they weren't finished yet. And if they fooled Violet, what else were they capable of? The next morning, I went to the police with everything, emails, the fake complaint, even the forged bank records. The officer nodded seriously. We'll trace it, but be careful. Whoever this is, they know how to hide. Back at the bakery, the stress began to show. I burned 2 trays of muffins and nearly cried when a customer complained about frosting. Mr. Daniels stopped by that afternoon. You look exhausted, he said. Someone's pretending to be my dead father, I said quietly. His eyes widened. Emma, that's serious. I think he's after my business. He thought for a moment, then bade him. Offer what he wants. That night, I posted online that I was looking for a new investor for Sweet Haven. Within hours, a private message arrived from that same email. We should talk. Meet me at the old warehouse on Mill Street. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. I stared at the screen. It was reckless, but I needed answers. As I locked up the bakery, I whispered, if this is the person behind it all, I'll end it tonight. Outside, thunder rolled. The warehouse was nearly empty, echoing with raindrops hitting the tin roof. I clutched my phone, recording everything secretly. A shadow moved near the old office door. Emma, a voice called softly. A man stepped out. He looked familiar, tall, gray hair, sharp eyes. My heart skipped. Mr. Carson? I said. He had once been my father's business partner. He smiled coldly. You remember. Good. You pretended to be my father. He nodded. He owed me. When he died, I never got what was mine. You built your bakery with his money. That makes it mine now. That's a lie, I said, voice shaking. He held up a document. Not if the papers say otherwise. Your dear mother-in-law believed every word. I stepped closer. You used her to ruin me. He smirked. She was easy to manipulate. You, not so much. I pressed my phone in my pocket, the recording light blinking. Then headlights flashed through the doorway. Erin's car screeched to a stop. He ran in, shouting, Emma? Carson turned, startled. And in that split second, I saw the glint of metal in his hand. The gun looked small in Carson's hand, but it was enough to make my knees weaken. Erin froze behind me. Don't move, Carson said. You shouldn't have brought him. I swallowed hard. You don't need to do this. You'll get nothing if you hurt me. He sneered. You already gave me nothing when your father died. He took everything, his name, his fortune, his secrets, and you walked away with his money and fame. Erin stepped forward slowly. Put the gun down, Carson. We can talk. Carson laughed. You're just like her, always pretending to be calm. But I know greed when I see it. Rain drummed harder on the roof. My phone kept recording in my pocket, the little red light blinking like a heartbeat. Why fake my father's name? I asked. Because your father ruined me, he hissed. Now you'll pay for it. He aimed the gun. I grabbed a metal tray from a shelf and threw it. The shot went off, loud, sharp, echoing through the warehouse. Aaron lunged at him, knocking the weapon away. It slid across the floor, right to my feet. I picked it up, my hands shaking. Carson stared up at me, rage in his eyes. Do it, he whispered. I didn't pull the trigger. My hands were trembling so hard the gun nearly slipped. Aaron grabbed my arm. Emma, don't. Let the police handle it. Carson laughed bitterly. Of course. Daddy's good little girl. Sirens wailed outside. I hadn't called them. Mr. Daniels must have tracked my location when I left earlier. 2 officers burst in, weapons raised. Drop it, one shouted. I set the gun down and stepped back. Carson tried to run, but Aaron tackled him easily. As they handcuffed him, Carson kept yelling. She stole everything. Her father stole from me. I stood there, heart pounding. My father was a good man. The officer nodded. We'll check the records. For now, he's under arrest. Outside, the rain had stopped. I leaned against Aaron's shoulder, shaking. It's over, I whispered.
He put his arm around me.
No, it's just beginning. We still have to prove it. I nodded, exhausted but determined. When I checked my phone later, I saw the recording still running. Carson's confession was clear as day. That was the proof we needed. But I couldn't shake Violet's last words. He said he wanted what was his. Was Carson acting alone? A week later, the police confirmed it. Carson had forged every document. The stolen funds, the fake letters, even the inspector reports traced back to his computer. He had used Violet to create chaos while he prepared to claim ownership of my bakery through false debt. It was a web of lies, but now it was unraveling. Aaron and I stood outside the courthouse after his hearing. Carson had been denied bail. Aaron sighed. I still can't believe Mom was part of it. She didn't know, I said softly. He tricked her. And I think, deep down, she regretted it. He nodded, eyes distant. She woke up this morning. She's asking for you. My chest tightened. For me? At the hospital, Violet looked weaker but calmer. When she saw me, her eyes filled with tears. I heard about Carson. I'm so sorry, Emma. I sat beside her. You were used, but now you can help us stop him completely. She nodded slowly. I will. I owe you that. Her hand found mine. You remind me of myself when I was your age, before bitterness changed me. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Don't let it change you too. Months passed. Sweet Haven Bakery was busier than ever. Customers returned. My reputation rebuilt itself, and the story of Carson's arrest spread across town. One morning, as I arranged cupcakes in the display, Aaron walked in with a grin. Guess what? You're being nominated for the city's Business of the Year award. I laughed. After everything that happened? That's wild. He handed me the letter. You earned it. I looked around at the familiar counters, the smell of fresh bread, the soft chatter of customers. This place had almost been taken from me, but it stood stronger now. That night, we visited Violet at her new home. She was thinner but smiling again. You've made quite the comeback, she said. You helped, I replied. She laughed softly. I ruined your life, then helped fix it. That's balance, I suppose. Aaron leaned over to kiss her forehead. We're proud of you, Mom. Her eyes sparkled. And I'm proud of both of you. As we left, Violet whispered something faint. Be ready for the ceremony. There will be surprises. I didn't understand what she meant until the day of the award. The hall was filled with music, chatter, and flashes from cameras. I stood among other women, smiling nervously as the presenter read names. Violet sat in the front row, wrapped in a soft shawl, watching me. Then came the familiar voice from the stage. We only have gifts for successful women. Maybe next year. The crowd laughed softly. I froze. It was exactly what Violet had once said at her ceremony, the words that had humiliated me.
I felt the same sting in my chest.
Then, from the back of the room, came the sound of footsteps. The doors opened, and Aaron entered carrying a large golden box. "Wait," he said loudly. "There's one more gift." He walked straight to me, opened the box, and revealed the plaque inside. It read, "Emma Reed, Resilience Award, for turning betrayal into strength." The room went silent, then erupted in applause. Violet covered her mouth, tears spilling down her face. I smiled at her. For the first time, she didn't look like an enemy. She looked like family. As the lights shimmered over us, I thought, sometimes the greatest revenge isn't payback, it's peace. And in that moment, I finally had both.